No, I didn't have the mic on. All right, guys. We've got S&Ps here, 29.69. So far, first 5-minute bar across the board here. Green in everything but the Nasdaq. Nasdaq is small red here at the moment. Um, and Dow getting the biggest pop there, up 0.27% now, kind of tied right there with the Nasdaq. It's the biggest pop I see so far. Again, I'm not looking at too much here, and I'm going to scan a couple stocks that are moving on the radar this morning. But like I said, I'm expecting kind of a quiet day, unless obviously we get some type of reaction or some type of tweet or something like that. Baba here was the biggest percentage change I saw on my radar, at least this morning. Up basically 2% here. JD. And the visualize tab is not updated yet. Apple here pushing back up into 221.80s. I really like this daily pattern in here in Apple. I do think this can actually break out here and is probably good for some higher prices there. I'm going to look to see if maybe there's a couple spread options that we could put on in there. I think Apple will be kind of unaffected by the overall markets here given the pattern it's in. I don't think it's necessarily something we have to do today, but I do think that'll be unaffected from a swing perspective here. And if we're looking for the markets to hold these support levels, I think that's a good trade as well. Netflix here, decent pop. New highs in the markets and quick reversal back here. Amazon's still breaking lower. I don't know that's a good thing. Stuttering here this morning. Nasdaq Russell new lows on the day. Same 5-minute bar that got us new highs just put us at new lows on the day. That is a very clear sign of a range bound day. And heat map is still not updated. If anybody has anything that's moving this morning you guys want me to take a look at, feel free to punch that into the chat here. I'm just doing a little bit of scanning here this morning with the markets whipping back and forth. Nasdaq now back above opening print. So is the Russell there. Pretty whippy little move right there. And I am probably going to put something on here in Apple. I'm just kind of looking to see what it is I want to do. IV ranks like 32% in there. And we have levels in place here right around 221.80s. This daily chart looks really, really good for a breakout though. BRB, punch in your symbols and I'll take a look at anything you guys have for me today. All right, so a couple symbols there I took a look at. I put together a position here in Apple that I'm looking to take here. So I've got the monthly options expiration here for Apple, and looking to do um, selling the 220, 217.50 put spread, buying the 225, 227 half call spread. I can do the whole thing right here for a debit of about 15 cents. Looks like mid price there, um, which gives a break even of about 225.15 for Apple here, and about $250 in risk. Well, 265. So I'm going to work this order at see if I can get this for about 18 cents there. Let's see. All right, that got filled. So it's got 18 days to go here. I got filled for 15 cents there in Apple. I put in an 18-cent bid and got filled. I did it all as one complete position here. So I'll just show you guys what I did. All right, so we've got Apple in place here. 221.83s here is a resistance level that I think we can break through. I like the daily chart here, and 225 and change is the next target above. So all I did here is I stepped in and again sold the 220 put, 220, 217 half put spread, and then bought in the 225, 227 half call spread. It's about a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio, and the break even here now is 225 and 15 cents here for me, which kind of lines up with the next level above that I think breaks through, which is 225.91s there. So as long as Apple can continue to push here, we got 18 days to go on that position, and like I said, it's a 1-to-1, so I'm risking about $500 here. You can see the buying power effect there to make potentially $500 on this trade as well. So I do like that in Apple. I did put that position on there. And let's take a look at a couple of the symbols that are coming in. So XLP, not XLPO. So XLP looks good for a breakout. I mean, reversing the daily bar here now over 61.30s basically. It's at pretty much, it is at all-time highs almost. Really solid uptrend in there. I like it. A small mover, like $2-3 at a time over like weeks. But yeah, I don't mind that for higher prices. IV rank's only 25%, so better off probably buying a call spread than selling a put spread in this. I have not traded this, so I'm not entirely sure on that, but I would probably not sell a put spread in there. Yeah, just looking at prices in there. Might actually be better off buying like a pretty wide call or a butterfly in there. You could probably do that like $2 or $3 wide, and it would be pretty decent. But yeah, XLP looks good for a long. Facebook here. Facebook's coming down into this daily 200 here, and kind of retesting this move from back in here, like early June. Let me move this daily chart a little bit so you guys can see. Kind of looking somewhere right in through here. If Facebook can actually break through lows one more time here and really kind of tag this 175 level basically, I think that's actually a good option. So if we do get some weakness today, tomorrow, and Facebook pushes down in there, I think you could step out into kind of the weeklies or the monthlies in October there. And let's see what these go for. $2.50 wide strikes. So selling the 175s, buying the 172 halves. And then I think good targets on this are back up over like 190s. I don't know if it can happen in 18 days. Probably, let me see what the Nove, that goes to $5 wide. I guess it isn't terrible. Market is absolutely sideways here. Green bar, red bar, green bar, red bar. Across the board. So the 175, 170 put spread and the 190, 195 call spread. It's a 66-cent debit. If you can get that closer to even, which you should be able to do on a move down, I kind of like that. It gives it some room. That's selling the 175, 170 put spread, buying the 190, 195 call spread. It is $5 wide though, so your max risk is going to be $500 per contract. So I don't think you can do too many sets of that. And it would put your break even pretty much right around 175 if you can get it for closer to even, which you should be able to as it comes down into 175. And it gives you 46 days to go on that one. And it's 1-to-1 return. So I don't actually mind that in Facebook. Do I think Roku could drop big? Let me take a look at Roku. I think it needs one more spike up though. But yeah, there's some room to go to the downside here in Roku. I think it needs one more spike though. The weaker it kind of sits down, or the longer it sits kind of down here right around 100 though, the weaker it definitely is going to be. And we could see, you know, kind of like the same type of 1, 2, 3 pattern as we saw from 2 Fridays ago. But I think most likely it kind of spikes here up, you know, north of like 113, kind of shakes some people out here. Trades over on this weekly chart, so 111.79s basically, and then completely dumps. Kind of similar like this move. Oh, you guys can't see the weekly chart. Hold on. Russell new lows on the day there. Green bar, red bar, red bar so far. About 20 minutes into the day. So I'm thinking something maybe like this here on the weekly chart. Right? This move wasn't quite as big, but you know, four red bars to the downside. Green bar kind of spikes up here, a little bottoming tail there. This low ended up being 49.28. You know, prior week's low was 49.32s. So broke by like 4 cents. And then, you know, kind of spiked up through that prior bar's high and then just got annihilated. I think that's most likely the kind of pattern that sets up here. So last week's lows in 98.08, those 98.69 probably break. And then, like I said, spikes up over 111.79s, 113 areas, something like that maybe. And then can get absolutely smacked from there. That's kind of the pattern I'm seeing here for Roku at the moment. Don't get me wrong, it can still break down and take a hard bar here. But I don't know that I see that happening just yet. And all right, visualize tab is back up. Let's see, PAAS. So this is a silver. Yeah, too late today to short for sure. Gap down, tried to go lower, now rallying back here. So yeah, I would not short that today. Volume in this is decent. Today's already at 1.1. Yeah, so there's some volume in this. Looking for downside leverage if trade talks go bad this month. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of the wrong person to ask when it comes to like the news talks. I don't really know the news at all outside of like when the scheduled announcements are going to come out. And I don't know that it necessarily, personally, I don't think news matters. And like, to a stock like Roku, what difference does it really make? I mean, it's basically almost 50% off highs here. It's almost lost half of its stock value in the past, like 20 days, 21 days, basically. So how much more can the trade talks hurt? I don't really know. And how many people are short this stock that are going to want to be getting out that's what I'm thinking here, given this move. That's the reason why I think the lows might get taken out this week, and then it kind of pops up to through 113s, because I think you'll get some, new shorts in, get some longs back out, and then reverse it back up on them and cause both sides harm, and then see the move from there. The one that I'm actually most surprised about at the moment is Amazon. The weakness coming out of Amazon. And again, I don't know why Amazon's weak, nor do I really care, but that one is kind of the most surprising here. Nasdaq pushing up here. All markets about to grab new highs there at the moment. And again, line in the sand for today is the opening print, so bullish above, bearish below on that. And we do have those 85 to 88s above in the S&Ps we could trade. So still another like 10 to 13 points to go here. I'm just not a big fan of it. Volume doesn't feel... Yeah, volume's actually pretty decent so far this morning. Take a look at Amazon. Nice, Sean. Are you through the combine yet? $17.19.81. Support level there in Amazon. Baba had some of these names, Baba, Baidu, stuff like that. They had big moves down on Friday as well there. On this bar, 1135 bar in Baba and Baidu were just massive pushes to the downside there. These are obviously Chinese ADR companies here, Baba and Baidu. Basically the Amazon and Google, I guess, technically is what Baidu is, of China. Apple new highs on the day, giving it back some. Netflix trying to make a move higher. Tesla here holding. If we get 1 or 2 more days here in Tesla of kind of consolidation there. I'm actually looking for that to make that move up towards 260s and through. And we could probably put on a swing trade, a little bit longer term options trade in there. But there really aren't a lot of symbols here to take a look at. Merck getting a big spike today here, 2.62%. AT&T looks good for a move higher as well. Walmart, same thing. Costco back over like 292s. We can kind of end this move here. I think that's actually pretty decent. It's got some high IV coming in there. Oh, they have earnings. 10-3. When is 10-3? Thursday after the bell. Nice. Let's take a look at that. When does earnings season start back up? Oh, like 2 weeks. Costco. Russell just made new lows on the day there. Only market to do so. Russell is green bar, red bar, green bar, red bar, red bar, green bar. And has not moved. All right, so Costco looking like a $13 expected move here. 307s, those prior highs up there. Butterfly in there is like 12 cents for the 300 strike. It's not bad. Working order in there for that. And let's see, 287.5, 285s. And kind of like this Costco. Selling the 287.5, buying the 285, puts, buying the 292.5, selling the 295s. And worked an order in there for even and got filled. Gives break even price 287.50 or up over 292 halves there. So I do like that. So I did work that order in Costco. So we do have an earnings play on the board there for the week. And then that butterfly I did. I've not touched the indices yet this morning at all. We have a couple earnings coming up this week. So we're going to be getting back into earnings season here soon, which will be nice. So we got Pepsi this week, Costco. So we got coming out Friday. Yeah, not much today. Bed Bath & Beyond. Take a look at the markets here. Again, I'm keeping an eye on them. There's really just not a lot going on this morning here, unfortunately, with the indices here. So we are, and there we go. Opening print here on the day for the S&P is coming in at 29.69. We're about 5 points higher than that at the moment here. Total range on the day of about 8 points for the S&Ps. So not terrible in terms of a range here. And just been a slow kind of steady move to the upside there a little bit, and kind of grinding out sideways here now. Same thing in the in the Nasdaq, up just a little bit here. Russell is almost back to opening prints here, and the Dow, like 5-minute chart, is just absolutely sideways here. So we are seeing, at least for me, absolutely range-bound action here this morning. Most likely S&Ps come down and retest those 29.69 opening print levels there. But this is a slow looking move here so far to start off the week. Again, it is end of quarter, end of month, so not surprised by that at all. Yeah, about 2 weeks, right, Perry? 10, 15. Yeah, 2 weeks pretty much. I'm looking forward to earnings season. Especially if we don't have the indices moving as much, then earnings season will be very, very welcomed. For shorts on the day, really not looking for shorts here. On the day at least. I mean, we're getting the like a little push to the upside, probably push back down to opening prints at some point here. Honestly, like I said, I would not be surprised if I didn't have a trade on the day, at least in the indices. Put a couple swing positions on here, Apple, Costco, and I'm going to let those positions, work themselves out. I do like the upside potential, so both of those are kind of long side trades there. I've stepped in really, really small so far. I mean, Apple's up $1 on the day. Costco's down 26 bucks on the day. So there's small positions here. Apple's got 18 days to go. So that trade's, not really affected by, I'm not going to be affected by it intraday here. It's in a swing account. And then the Costco position is 4 days to go, and it's basically an earnings trade. So it's independent of the market. The market can completely crash here over the next 2-3 days. And if Costco ends up having good earnings, or whatever it ends up doing from earnings, then that position could still end up working out. So they're independent of kind of what the broader market's doing, I think, at the moment. And Apple has time, so otherwise, Russell new lows here on the day, and market's still relatively flat. Gold hasn't quite gotten down to those 84.20s yet either. We do have a couple currency pairs moving like decent. Great Britain pound JPY 0.73% and USD CHF 0.57%. So Great Britain pound, if I can type this morning, JPY 0.73% there. The daily chart on this actually looks really, really good. If this can bounce. Yeah, let me ring up Goldman's desk and tell him we need some volatility over here. Yeah, Great Britain back over this like 133.16. I think will be pretty decent. USD CHF. This thing moving. Still has 0.99777 a breakthrough. This could actually get a pretty decent little run though if it does. JV, so you guide yourself a lot with the percentage plus or minus, right? Helps you get a bias for the day or to getting into a position. Yeah, it just helps me to spot like what's really moving, because I'm not interested in doing like a whole bunch of scanning and stuff like that to see what's moving. Looking at each individual chart. Now I will when I do like some more deeper analysis when it comes to like earnings season and stuff. But like just for intraday stuff, yeah, I look at the percentage change of the 4 indices for sure, which we knew this morning. Like coming in, we talked about it. The Russell was weaker, right? So let me pull up the morning write-up, and I'll tell you what it was when I was looking this morning here. How is that a thing? Hold up. Oh, that's why. Un momento. All right. If I could log in, that would be great. Okay, maybe not. Guess I'm not supposed to. Oh, there it is. There we go. All right, so the morning trade plan here from this morning, the morning right up there, we had S&P's up 0.25%, NASDAQ up 0.38%, Russell only up 0.18%, and the Dow up 0.22%. If we look at the board right now, we've got S&P's up 0.33, NASDAQ up 0.41, Russell only up 0.05. So Russell is weaker than where it was this morning. And we've got the Dow up 0.32% here, which Dow is stronger than where it was this morning. And then I wrote, later on, I'm also stalking some spreads this week that we could use for a pairs trade intraday, as we have some disparity going on between the NASDAQ, Russell, and Dow that we can take advantage of. But just have to time it right, since there are no weekly spreads in Nadex. And then I put a side note saying that I think this will make for a really good weekly strategy that might set up 1 to 2 days per week, and it's defined risk. So I'm really liking what I'm seeing with it so far. That's taking place today. I mean, if you look at just the percentage changes there and even just price structure changes, Russell here is weaker, NASDAQ obviously stronger. And as we've seen in the past few weeks, there's days where that spread goes from being super, super wide to really, really tightening, and then goes right back out from really tight to really wide. So that's why I like to look at the percentage changes and price structure with that. Nice. There you go, Ozzy. I've not taken a single future trade yet this morning, so... And we are still sideways, in case anybody was wondering. What do you mean, VK? Like, in terms of doing specifically what with it? Market getting a little bit of a pop here now. Netflix just got a nice pop from that. Yeah, I mean, you need some type of diversity there in terms of the accounts, and there's some benefits to all of those. You know, tax deferred, stuff like that. I don't do any 401k stuff personally. Um, so I have different accounts that have different purposes, if you will, different intents with them. So I have obviously day trading accounts, which are accounts that I'm just looking for positions intraday here, like in the futures markets. Those are income driving accounts. Um, I have a few accounts that are like kind of a mix between both some swing trades and some day trades. If there's something like clean that sets up in there, I'll take it for an intraday trade. And if it meets criteria, I'll hold it over. If not, I'll cut it loose. So those are kind of like a mixture account, if you will. Um, and then long-term holds, like which I use Robinhood for that type of stuff. So I have a weekly draft set up automatically into Robinhood, and I have a quarterly draft set up automatically as well. So every week and every quarter, there's money going into that account. And then as that account starts to grow, then, or as the buying power becomes available, then it's like, okay, what are the dividend stocks that I want to accumulate for long-term holds? And the reason being is because you can put $100 in the account, and then you can pick up, a share of Bank of America, a share of Ford, whatever it is like that, and you're not paying the commissions. Because if you're doing it through like TD, you're paying a few dollars to $10 just to acquire like a $20 stock, which doesn't just like you lose the first like 5 years of dividend money basically to commissions. And then that's if you don't ever get out of it. So, um, that's one way. And then also doing, um, I don't do any index funds personally. No, I, I don't do those. I mean, I guess you could, um, but just not really my thing. And then I like to diversify and do um, some artwork, some jewelry, real estate, stuff like that as well. So I have some like different kind of investments like that where, um, I've bought watches and stuff that I like that can be passed down from generation to generation. Um, some are like pleasure, some are investments. Same thing with artwork. Like I have artwork that's still actually wrapped in tubes, not um, never been framed, stuff like that. That I think has potential for good resale value. And then um, real estate stuff like that, gold, silver, um, old currency, and those are just things that you just kind of sit and let it do its thing. A bunch of the I don't even know how to say the name, but the gold dollars that came out. Um, the what are those things called? No, like the Sachigo I can't say the word, but anyways, like the gold coins that came out a couple of like 10, 15 years ago maybe. Um, I picked up like a couple hundred of those. Um, some old paper notes, some old coins. Yeah, whatever Kenny said. Sacagawea. There we go. Um, so stuff like that. And the next thing probably will end up being, um, yeah, some of those too, KM. So a good buddy of my dad's owns a coin and antique shop, and the dude's been doing that since, ever since I've known him. They opened that shop like right before I was born, so like 30 years ago, and he's got a ton of like, his personal collection is insane, and then his inventory is like obviously even greater than that. So, if he calls my dad up and says, "Hey, I got this piece," my dad and I'll go in on it or something like that, um, depending on price, or my dad will pick it up or I'll pick it up, whatever it is, and things like that. So, yeah, yeah, and people spin them too. Like we collected a bunch of them just because, like, when my parents had their store, people would pay with them, and my dad was like, "Oh, these are kind of cool," so we just started keeping them. Yeah, VK. I mean, like, so I don't specifically own any Rolexes at the moment. I have a couple that I would like. Um, those I don't feel have as great. Those are more like kind of the pleasure pieces. Um, those I don't feel have like the same kind of resale value, because they're like more kind of the mass produced, high end Swiss watches, if you will. Um, but I think probably one of the next like kind of investment fund purchases I'll do is like a classic car. Yeah, true, RJ. And then so I have an account through Goldman that well, Goldman bought them, but that earns like 2 point something percent interest. And if I withdraw money, then that goes, a portion of that money goes there, which is money for taxes and stuff. Um, and that ends up being, a nice little kind of accumulation throughout the year as well. Yeah, no, I definitely like Rolexes. I like Tag, so I like Rolexes. I like Tag, um, Hublot, Breitling, IWC. Um, I want a Richard. Um, they're like 150,000 though, so they're a pretty deep investment. Um, yeah, I'm with you on that, Kalen. I mean, that's the thing though. There's good variety like across the board. Yeah, I do have crypto as well. Very like kind of small portion of the overall portfolio. Nice, Ozzy. Yeah, I don't wear my stuff if I'm going out of the country. Like I actually don't even have a watch on right now, but it's on my desk at the house, my everyday wear. What are you working with here? Oh, nice. Swiss. And then I have like um, some investments in some guns as well. I've actually got a fairly decent amount in that. Yeah, my buddy picked up a fake Rolex for me a couple years back in China. It was like you could definitely tell the difference. It was so light. It was kind of funny though. Yeah, I mean taxes is like you have to pay taxes. Like there's no way around it, unfortunately. Um, so pull if you pull money out, put it into a like I said, an interest bearing account, like the Goldman account, and let it earn 2% throughout the year or whatever it's at right now. They send you an email when it goes up. They don't really send you an email when the interest rate goes down on it though. And just leave it in there. Oh, nice, nice, Vince. Yeah, I've got a couple pieces that are never been fired. And all that stuff sits in a trust. I don't have a divergence in the Dow at the top. We're actually coming back from actually the thing I wish I still had, um, which is gonna sound really weird for me to say, is all my Pokemon cards from back in the day, because some of those went absolutely. Some of the ones that I know that I specifically had, some of those went absolutely stupid when that Pokemon Go game came out a couple years ago, and could have literally made a mint off of. I had like 4 or 5 binders, full organized, like everything. I didn't use them to like actually play the game. I just collected them, and then I had bought um a collection of cards at one point. It was like 4 to 5 thousand baseball cards, and ended up getting rid of that. And I know I had some really good pieces in there. A lot of old MJ stuff, which I still have some of it, but definitely not as much as I should have kept. Yeah, I don't have a divergence in the Dow on the new highs. Yeah, those. I mean, those are good pieces, Drew. As like as weird of a little niche as that is. Yeah, it's just you know find your passion too. Find what you actually know and invest in that too. Like if what you know is baseball cards or sports memorabilia, you know, don't don't be afraid to put money in that if you know what it is. They're shared um, in the course VK, the updated links. But you shouldn't, if you're using just /YM right now, you should not have a signal at the 1010 bar. I'll pull up my chart so you can see. There's one at 935, but that's it. Hmm, that's interesting. Yeah, I don't have that. Yep, definitely don't have that on mine. It's weird. Yeah, I mean, a lot of that stuff is, oh, it probably is a paper account then. That would make sense. Yeah, I mean, a lot of that stuff got like, kids put them in bicycle wheels and stuff like that. A lot of those good cards got ruined. I know my cousin has. My cousin has an absolutely massive collection, and I'm hoping he's still holding on to that. He had an entire like chest full, and he's gonna be pushing 40, and he probably has like 10 to 15,000 cards. So yeah, I'm hoping they still have that. Mark, do you use a certain scan to figure out what stocks you'll trade? I just pretty much watch like the same charts over and over, and then I'll scan like through the Market Watch tab and the Visualize tab to see if there's anything really moving um, for the day, and if there's something really moving, then I'll take a look at that. But for the most part, I pretty much trade the same stocks over and over. That was the first trade on Roku this year, though. Apple's moving pretty decently today. Kind of independent of what the market's doing here. 221.90s at the moment. Netflix, nice move. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm agreeing with you, Jose. The market's just not going anywhere. So if you are taking any positions here, they're just smaller positions, smaller targets, the whole nine. Actually, we stopped at speaking of like baseball cards and all that, we stopped at this little antique shop on our way back yesterday. And it was like kind of one of those consignment shops where people can rent like little different spaces or whatever in this antique mall type deal. Um, and I met this guy that had this little room of all his baseball cards and stuff like that. And he was sitting in there. We were chatting for a bit. He was 75 years old, and he's been collecting cards since he was like 8. And he had like he started collecting in like 1956 or something, because those were the oldest cards he had um, in the cases. And he had literally thousands of cards. It was insane. Oh, it's on YouTube. I dropped that video on YouTube as well. Here, I'll grab you a link. Mark, which course do I need to get in order to get a breakdown of how and which levels you pick? I teach that in the MLT Pro course, Mark. It should work, RJ. All right, 10:36 here. Market has gone a whole lot of nowhere. Russell is actually down on the day here. Nasdaq up 0.48% here. Still just sloppy 5-minute range. Um, pretty much across the board. So we're an hour into the day. Close right here in the middle. I think this is going to be the majority of today's action. Gold still hasn't quite got down to the 1484.20s just yet. Crude is pretty much about 2 cents away from where I saw it earlier this morning. Been keeping an eye on quotes here, and that has really done a whole lot of nothing either. So total range on the day for crude like 61 cents. And every time I look, it's like right here around 0.35s. So I'm literally just watching like each high there on crude apparently. And market doing a whole lot of nothing. So I'm going to leave the mic open, or leave the room open for just a couple minutes. If you guys have questions, feel free to go ahead and throw them in the chat. I'm going to get up and take a little walk for a second, and then come back, and any questions you guys might have, I'll go ahead and answer those. And then I'm probably going to wrap it up and call it a day. Most likely no future trades here for me today. A couple positions I put on in Apple and Costco. And like I said, I think this is kind of a wait and see type of day, at least for the way that I like to trade here. And I have a ton of emails and stuff to catch up on here from the weekend and all that. So I told the wife I was not going to do any work over the weekend. And it was a good time though, hitting the beach and all that fun stuff. The little boy loves the water. He freaking crawled right to the ocean, like no fear in the world, and then like was like enjoying like the little bit of waves coming up, like, you know, where he could his face was still out of the water, and then one kind of came up and smacked him right in the face, and he kind of like looked at the ocean like it did something that it shouldn't have done to him. It was pretty funny though, but it was a good weekend. I'll walk through that in just a second, VK, when I get back. But yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions, and I will be right back in just a minute. All right. Yeah, so VK, the Apple trade that I put on is going out 18 days to the um, October expirations, monthly expirations. And I did a combination of a put and call spread here. So I sold the 220, 217 half put spread. All right. That was Alexa talking to me. Um, so I sold the 220, 217 half put spread and then bought the 225, 227 half call spread. And I paid 15 cents for that. So it puts my break even on this trade at 225.15. And it's basically a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio there. So looking for Apple to make a move up through 225 here over the next 18 days. And market's still range bound here. And then in Costco, I did a 300 butterfly on the call side, $2.50 wide for this week. And then sold the 287 half, 285 put spread, bought the 292 half, 295 call spread, and that's an earnings trade. Costco has earnings Thursday night, the 3rd. But all right, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up here for today. Nothing's really moving here. Russell's getting new lows again now, so Russell being weak, and I think that's to be expected. The only thing I'm gonna do is set some alerts in case gold comes down and trades those 84.20s. I do want to pay attention to that. And again, we might get some type of news announcement here today that starts to shake us up a bit, but I do not want any parts of that at all here. So no trades for me here yet this morning, and the futures outside of the options trades that I talked about there. That's the only thing I've done so far, and those are, again, some swing trades type stuff. So not too concerned what we do for today if that's going to be the case here. So anyways, thank you guys so much for coming on and hanging out. I think there was maybe one or two like smaller trades you could have done today. Otherwise, though, we're getting that nice disparity coming here between the Russell and the Nasdaq. So I think that the pairs trade is going to set up pretty nicely in there for the week, and excited for that one. So I do think we'll have some good trading action coming up. I just don't think it's going to be today here, as tight as this 5-minute chart and stuff is looking here. Not something I want to be a part of there. So thank you guys so much, and good chatting with you guys and the whole kind of investment vehicles and stuff like that different people kind of put their money into, and that's always added value for other people that are listening, may or may not be asking questions there. So really appreciate the support and engagement from that, guys. And that's going to do it for me this morning. I'll see you guys back here tomorrow, same time, same place, and hopefully the market's not in the same place, because that will be pretty boring. But it'll be the start to a new quarter, so looking forward to that, and getting 2019 Q4 underway. King Christopher Wise, Nate Bach, a celebrity. You don't know Nate Baca? Come on, man. You gotta know who Nate Baca is. No, I was just messing with Nate. Nate's a longtime student. He was actually one of the first, or the first student to actually pass the combine and get himself funded, and did it all from his phone. That while he was driving a big Caterpillar dozer, and so yeah, that's why Nate is a celebrity, and all around good guy. Like Nate a lot. So he was MIA for a while and enjoying himself out in Vegas, getting some tattoos. Hopefully he did not get married while he was in Vegas. Didn't quite hear from him for a little bit there, but I got a feeling he didn't. I'm rooting for him there. So anyways, though, you guys have a good rest of the trading day, and I'll see you guys back here tomorrow morning. Take care. Appreciate you guys.